Hi, welcome to our podcast. I'm so excited. This is our second version, and we're going to try to pick up where we left off. And this is My Shoes, Let's Walk with Sandy and Debbie
Hi, Sandy.
today, and Nikki over here.
Sandy.
And we have our peanut gallery back there, and we'll introduce them if we need to. But we want to, I want
Where'd my
to
other peanut go?
explain to people that we're not affiliated with any religions, any groups, any organizations. This is us.
Yes.
And we're accepting to everybody and everything.
Yes.
And My Shoes, Let's Walk, we do not want to step on anybody's toes. Okay?
No.
But we want your opinions and we want your feedback. And we're, like I said, we're going to go ahead with forgiveness. And myshoesletswalk@gmail.com is a place that you can right now send us information or questions. And we're going to go through them, and we may be calling you if there's something that we feel that we need to touch on,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And I think when we left off,
Mm-hmm.
we kind of talked a little bit later, and forgiveness is so huge.
It is.
So huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to explain that when you don't forgive someone or you don't ask for forgiveness, you're actually putting a shield around that other person because you're holding them accountable or you're not saying, I'm sorry. So either way, you're kind of putting a shield over them. Does that make sense to you, Debbie?
It does. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And by doing that, I think I said the old adage, let go, let God.
Yes.
But it's not just let go, let God. It's let go and let yin yang, the power of the universe, the anything that balances.
Yes. Law of attraction. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So it's let go and let what's supposed to happen happen. So I have a question, and I would love the feedback on this. And it's kind of like a survey. How do we put it?
You wanted to know if being the forgiver was more powerful or the one, what did you say secondly?
Forgiveness. Does it take a bigger person
Right.
to ask for forgiveness?
Right.
Or the person to give the forgiveness?
Right. Okay. Yes. That is what you said.
Okay. So I know every situation for forgiveness is different. Every situation is
Yes,
different.
Absolutely.
So to ask for forgiveness, and that's on you, and to
Mhm.
give forgiveness,
Mhm.
that's on you.
Yes.
But you're the only one that holds that.
Right.
And you were telling me what happens when people hold that.
Well, when you hold it, you actually start building up an anger inside you that starts to devour you. Anger is a negative emotion, and if you don't let it go, you all of a sudden become consumed by it, and then you yourself can become a negative person rather than freeing yourself by offering forgiveness or seeking forgiveness.
Exactly. It works both ways.
Correct.
But
Yes.
This is stuff we would love to get feedback on
Yes.
so that we can touch bases and
Exactly.
and maybe call on someone to,
Yes, it would be
bring in-
great. It'd
yeah.
be great to hear comments about it,
yeah,
or somebody having a question about their own struggle with forgiveness.
exactly.
Be great.
Or how do I ask for forgiveness?
Exactly, that's a tough one
I've done
sometimes.
something really bad that I
Mhm.
need to ask. And maybe the other people don't even know what they did.
And that's very true. That is very true.
And they still are holding that in themselves. They know
Yes.
they need to be forgiven.
Right.
And they're holding that in. It's still a time where they need to free themselves
Yes.
of this. So that would be really good. And I know I said briefly when we left, and it would be another story, that
Yes.
my husband had run me over.
Yes.
And yes, that was a huge forgiveness.
And
that was
And there was a literal run over, so
Yeah,
we need to really,
physically.
yes.
physically ran me over, and I ended up helping his family. But I think I had spent a year in the hospital after this situation, and it gave me a lot of time to understand myself. And I was a teenager at the time.
Yes, you were, with a small baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I did learn at that time, way back then, and I'm old now, so it was a long time ago.
I don't represent that.
It was a long time ago, but I actually had learned this, that by me people would come in and say, "Hey, we'll take care of him, or we'll do something to him," and I'm like, "Well, that will make you just as
No.
bad as he is."
Exactly.
How can I condone that happening?
Oh,
I could
absolutely.
never.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And then I learned, laying there all the time, that me feeling negative against him for what he did was only hurting me. He had no clue that I felt that way.
Right.
And he's going on with his life.
Yes. Exactly.
You know, and it's up to him to ask the forgiveness,
Right.
which is totally up to him.
Right.
But my
To free
forgiveness,
him,
right,
he has to ask. Right.
right.
Mhm.
And I had forgiven him
Right.
way back, and people did not understand it, and I had the hardest time trying to explain. I helped him and his wife in many different ventures that they were going through, and they're, why would you do that? Why, I don't get it. Well, because I don't have that animosity. I don't have the capability now to hold that negativity.
Exactly, because you freed yourself.
I did.
You gave him forgiveness regardless of whether he was going to accept it. You no longer wanted to be victimized by that.
Right.
So you forgave him.
Right.
Mhm.
And it's not up to me to chastise him. It's up to the universe. It's up
Right.
to whatever you believe in.
Yes. Yes.
But, yeah.
Yes.
So that I just wanted to touch on that because I did say that before we left
Yes.
the last time, and there's a lot more to that story.
A lot more.
A lot more. Yeah, I mean, being in the hospital for a year, I've got tons of stories. I've got how it happened and living, being abused, and
Mhm.
many abuses later. And
Mhm.
like I said, I would not want anybody to have to walk in my shoes unless they could handle it.
Right. And you understand, so you be able to help anybody else out there that might have a similar story, which is why we're showing people what forgiveness is all about.
Right.
Mhm.
Powerful.
Powerful,
Oh
hugely.
my gosh.
Yeah.
And I know you had more things for forgiveness too. They were,
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I mean, there's been people in my life. My first husband, very, very abusive. We talk about karma. I forgave him. Even my current husband didn't understand fully the full impact until I stayed friends with him because I forgave him. I didn't have to be married to him anymore. I did not have to be putting up with abuse, but we had children in common. And I wanted our children to be able to know at least their mom and dad could get along for them. And so I forgave him. Plus, I knew if I continued on with the anger towards him, I would not be able to carry on a healthy relationship with anybody else.
Mhm.
But one day when my husband, my ex-husband and his current wife went to do a horseshoe tournament together, my ex-husband viewed a man abusing a woman in this bar we were at. And he became very angry. And I kind of gave him a look like, huh?
Really?
Yeah, exactly. And his current wife said, oh, no, not him. He would never do that. And I'm like, yeah.
wow.
So he explained. I was shocked. He sat down and he told my husband and his wife what happened throughout our marriage. That was the first and only time he ever said it, but he sought my forgiveness.
opened up.
Yes, he did.
And he
It's major.
accepted it.
He did.
So now he's in a much better place. As
He
far
is. He's a
as his
great
life
guy.
and-
Yeah, we all get along.
He owned up
That's
to it.
nice.
He did. He owned up to everything. He let his current wife know, yeah, that was me. And he knows what he lost because of it. And he asked my forgiveness. So not only was I freed by myself forgiving him,
Mhm.
I was freed by him actually admitting it. And then
Yeah.
he freed himself by asking my forgiveness. And I accepted it.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah,
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 it
it's huge.
really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And
Yeah,
there's, like I said, there's so many stories, so many individual stories and layers of stories.
Absolutely.
And, but we do want to hear from you, and we'd love to share them. And like I said, if there's some really interesting that we can go further with,
Mm-hmm.
I want to expand. I just want to keep going with this. And I know we're going to go off into different avenues, but I think our whole thing, through everything I've been through in my life,
Yes.
has always come down to forgiving and forgiveness in the end.
I agree, because if we don't forgive, even if it's just for us, we hold ourselves back, and we can't progress to be a happy person because we don't know where happiness is when you're angry.
Yeah.
And you're probably one of the most happiest people I've ever met and the most loving.
Thank
And
you.
are. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
And you've been through so much. So it shows people that no matter what trauma happens,
Mhm.
you can get over that trauma by forgiving and moving on.
You know, you saying that, I think by having the inability to hold people, I don't have a lot of, over the years, I just don't have it to hold negativity in me.
Right.
Okay? And I think because of that is why I can connect with so many people and
Yes.
why I can love so many people.
Yes, definitely.
Now now don't get me wrong. You know, I love everybody. You know that. I mean, I just love everybody. I want to make people smile. I want to be there for everyone. And yes,
Yes.
people do upset me, but that's just
Yes.
it. They upset me and I get over it and walk forward.
Right.
Walk in my shoes away.
Yes.
Okay. But it's not always easy.
No.
It's not always easy,
No.
but it's always there. And the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Exactly.
And it just the ability to hold hatred or negativity
Yes.
is it just goes away. And I want to make people happy, but don't get me wrong, I don't let a lot of people get close to me. There's a difference.
That is true.
Okay.
But you also, with your relationship with Gino, you were able to open your heart,
Yeah,
which was a good thing. So you showed yourself how you could
yeah,
allow somebody to be close. You're just guarded, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
yeah. And that
That's
took a
okay.
lot of years,
Yeah.
and it was the best 5 years.
It
and-
was.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another story. But
Yeah.
but yes, I can be around everyone, hugs, kisses,
Yes.
love them. I think we can all feel the love from each
Oh,
other
absolutely.
when it's real. You feel
Yes.
it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
You can tell fake and just forced, opposed to the actual, where you
Yeah.
truly are loving somebody.
Yes. I had somebody at dinner the other night. Was some people are just mean.
Yes,
Just
they can be.
mean. And in front of the lady that took us out to dinner, she had said she had lost her husband, Gino, and he had died a week apart.
Yes.
And this lady that was with us, we had said, here's to going through the same things.
Right.
And the lady with us, she goes, but you're not going through the same thing. She was with him for longer.
Oh,
And I
my.
said, but, and the other lady goes, but you know about Gino? And she goes, yeah, Gino. And she was just so mean. And the thing she said to me, I just started crying, and I got up
Aw.
and gave her a hug and left. I
Good
mean,
for you. Because you feel sorry for her input of you can't equate that you both lost the loves of your life.
yeah,
And yes, the other woman was with her partner for so long,
yeah,
but that 5 years you had with Gino, plus you knew him since you were a child.
yeah,
So you, in an essence, really, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even
That's
if,
immediately what I thought.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
yeah.
And even if you knew him for a year and that was all you knew him, he still was somebody that impacted your heart. So you're
Mhm.
going through the same thing.
Yeah, and
Yes.
again, all different levels,
Absolutely.
and all different ways. But love is love. True love and love is love.
Absolutely.
And if you're capable of it and you can do it and share it. But that
Yes.
does not mean you have to let everybody into
right.
your life.
No, you need. There are some people that they're not ready to be in your life
Yes.
till they learn, forgiveness or how to love.
Yeah, this is so true.
Yeah.
So true. And just be there for everyone.
Right.
And like I've said before, when you're going through the mall or you're walking down the hallway somewhere and you see somebody walking up to you and they look so miserable,
Hmm.
a lot of times you just want to turn away.
Yes.
But smile. Smiles are free.
And you don't know what that impact does for somebody. Just a smile can actually turn somebody's day around. It really can.
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
I've read a lot of statistics on that. If you really look at just even a hello or a true, not rhetorical, how are you, but how are you?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
in this country, we all say, how are you? But we really don't want to know. It's like, don't tell me, just asking.
Yeah.
But truly, if you're really, hey, how are you, Nikki?
Yeah.
And then I'm giving you that opportunity to tell me,
fine,
how are you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it
and-
opens something up for somebody. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
And even if she was sad and she said that to you, it
It
automatically.
would make me smile.
Yes, exactly, because I
yeah.
cared to ask.
Yes,
Yeah,
and a lot of
exactly.
people
That's true.
that smile that they see,
Yes.
regardless of what they've been through, that smile may be the only one they get. Their
Start
household.
waving at people walking down the street as they're driving by in a car.
Well, funny thing is,
Ooh.
when we were walking and I had our granddaughter, Sophie was with us, and she's just waving away at everybody. And people walking down the street, hi, how are you? But they're all looking at her like, hi, sweetie.
All day long, they're gonna say, "Where do I know that girl?" All day long.
And they loved it. And I was like, you keep doing that. But that's big.
Yeah.
No, don't go off with somebody because, you don't know who that is. But keep saying hello. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she did.
Yeah.
It
That's,
was great. And you do. You always smile. I don't think I've really, few times have I ever seen you without a smile on your face.
yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
good.
And it must have been something I was going through
Absolutely.
in there.
And it'll happen. It'll happen. But you know what? When somebody else smiles at us, it helps us to remind ourselves, oh yeah,
Yeah.
because smiles beget more smiles,
They
which creates
do.
happiness.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's funny because frowns do not beget more frowns.
Frowns a smile upside down.
That's true.
Exactly. Exactly. But if you
Are you
think
standing on your head right now?
Exactly. I mean, if you think about it, has anybody ever walked past you with a frown that made you go,
No. Nope. All I do is say, hey, how's your day?
Yeah.
Good morning. Or,
What's it
or
look
give them a
like?
hug?
Yeah. Well, I hope I make your day better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think bottom line is, when you have that free spirit and you free yourself
Yes.
of
Yes.
negativity or negative thoughts.
Free your mind, and the rest will follow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's true though.
Stay tuned for the rest of the song.
Exactly.
Is that a song
It
that
is.
we have to pay for
Mhm.
now?
Uh-oh.
We're gonna have to. It was a short excerpt, folks. Not the whole thing. Name that tune.
Yeah, right. Oh, I just love it.
Yes, we need something of our own. My shoes, let's walk. But we don't want to step on anybody's toes,
No.
right?
No, it doesn't feel good when that happens.
We have a peanut killer in the back here, and it's actually kind of funny. Maybe
toeless-
we'll have to get them on here. A toeless man back there saying,
I have,
seriously.
I don't want to mess up.
No, you're part of it now.
I have one serious thing I want to say, if you guys don't mind.
No, go
While
ahead.
he's recording, you might want to record it. I just wrote on a piece of paper a little while ago about the joke asking for
Why don't you
forgiveness.
come over here because nobody's going to hear you.
No?
Come over here.
Oh,
You
can
I'm
read
already
it.
on camera.
That's all right. You can stand behind us
Yeah.
then. You're good.
Come over here. We love it. And see, this is what we want. We
Yes.
want
So
input.
come
We
behind
want
me.
No,
everybody.
I don't want to be on camera.
Okay, do you need this?
All right, if I'm standing up, I guess I can't. No, I know what it says.
Okay. Okay.
Everybody jokes about it's better to beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission.
Ah.
That's bullshit. That's why I wrote
And
it's
tell us
bullshit.
why.
Because you really need to think about what you're doing. Ask if you want to do something and you think, "Oh, I'm going to ask for forgiveness later."
Oh, I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
You're like, that's what that means.
You know
I'm
it's-
going to do something out of not a whim,
Yes.
and then ask for forgiveness later.
You know it's wrong.
That's a big
Gotcha.
problem because you could really hurt someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
And
know
you
it's
don't mean
wrong in
to.
the beginning, or you wouldn't have to
And
think that.
sometimes you
Right,
use excuses of why you're
exactly.
wrong, but they're not good either. So you have to own up to it. Again, that's
You
all I
have
want to say.
Own up to
That's all
it.
I need to say. Own up to it and realize
Yeah.
that begging
Yeah.
forgiveness
Yeah. Ask.
before asking for forgiveness is bullshit.
Or doing an act and then asking for
For-
forgiveness
And that's what I
later.
meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you know you have to ask for forgiveness, and you know you're doing something you
And-
shouldn't be doing. And
Yes,
that's
Correct.
that's the whole thing.
That's
You should have
correct.
thought of that to begin with. Is what I'm
Right.
trying to say.
You're
Right.
absolutely
And
wrong.
some people don't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Now another question too to go with this that we asked, and please do email us and let us know what you think. Is it a
Yes.
bigger person to ask for forgiveness or a bigger person to give the forgiveness?
Correct.
What is bigger? And it's probably I'm curious to have
Yeah, I'm
other
curious.
people's
Might be
opinions.
50-50.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
And then on the other side, don't forget how much alcohol plays, and a lot of things that people do
Mhm.
that they need to ask for forgiveness, and they might not even remember
Mm-hmm.
that they need the forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
But the other person that they did something to is hurting.
Mm-hmm.
So should we bring it up? And I mean, we have to let that person know that they hurt
Yes, absolutely. Exactly. Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you don't and they don't remember because they were too intoxicated, then they're
Yeah.
not going to know why you're upset.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, do they own up because they don't remember doing it? Do they own up to it? Or do they feel, I don't need to forgive because I don't remember it? Another question.
Yeah, that is a very good
Some
question.
people can own up to it and because they do remember it, but then they use the excuse. Was drunk.
The excuse. There you go. Again, the excuse. But then again, if you have to use the excuse, you know it was wrong.
Hmm.
The same as if you know you're going to have to ask for forgiveness later, you know
Right.
it's wrong. So yeah, again, that plays into it. So it's all good. Yeah. Yeah. We do have a peanut gallery. Pretty
We
soon they're going to start
do.
flying over
Yeah.
here. Okay?
So open your mouth and catch them, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. So, yeah. Nikki, I know you have some things. I know she doesn't
Not
want to be
today.
on here.
See you next Tuesday.
Isn't that what was said on Game of Thrones by Arya? Not today.
Yeah, you know, because I know there's a lot of things going in your head that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
There's a lot, yeah,
You got some really good
Yeah.
things to say.
yeah. And Maria, I know there's a lot of
Absolutely.
things.
And she's right.
And Ed, and
Yeah.
of course Jamie back there, and we're all going to say our names, but a lot of times we're not going to use the people's names. We
Right.
don't care. These are our opinions and
Right.
our thoughts,
Right.
and it's personal. But this is all personal to everyone. Like I said, my shoes, but they're our shoes.
Right.
So let's keep walking in our shoes and moving forward.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah. And do you have anything else
No.
today?
No. I
No?
think we've covered it all.
Everybody good?
Not
I
today.
think
Not
we're
today. One more try. Okay, well, this is
funny.
Sandy with My Shoes Let's Walk. Please go to myshoesletswalk@gmail.com. My Shoes Let's Walk on Facebook page. And we actually do have myshoesletswalk.com and a YouTube channel that these will be coming out on.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
this is only the beginning, so keep up with us, and we're just going to keep going. And please send us some information so we can share more and get into things a little more in detail.
Exactly. Exactly.
And your opinions do count.
They do.
Yeah, I know mine does.
They're important.
I know yours does.
Yes.
Anyway, so keep walking, and My Shoes Let's Walk, and we don't want to step on anyone else's toes.
No.
Ever. Okay?
Thank you.
Love you.